MK Party files papers with Constitutional Court to halt Friday's National Assembly sitting. Jacob Zuma's Umkhonto Wesizwe MK Party has filed urgent papers with the Constitutional Court to interdict the first sitting of the National Assembly (NA). The papers were filed 3 days before the NA is scheduled to vote for the President, the Speaker, and Deputy Speaker of the Parliament. Earlier this week, the MK Party issued a statement indicating their intent to halt the convening of the NA. We argue that the unresolved objections and the veracity of the substance by MK Party and other political parties who represent the will of the people render this market-based declaration and consequently the sitting and all its activities unconstitutional. Furthermore, and in defense of our people's constitutional rights, the MK Party will file papers with the Constitutional Court to interdict the swearing in of party-nominated candidates as members of the NA until our grievances, which are premised on allegations of election fraud and rigging, are thoroughly addressed by the courts, the party said in a statement released on Monday. In response to the MK Party's statement, Parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Matapo said according to Section 49.3 of the Constitution, unless and until the results of the elections are set aside by a court, Parliament must ensure that the sitting proceeds as directed. Furthermore, Parliament cancelled all arrangements for accommodations and flight for the party's elected members, citing fruitless and wasteful expenditure. This is a developing story. MK Party members can still be sworn in as MPs and MPLs even if they skip Friday's first National Assembly sitting. The Umkhonto Wesizwe MK Party's 58 elected members may still be sworn in as members of the Parliament MPs or members of the provincial legislatures MPLs even if they choose to skip the first sitting of the National Assembly NA following last month's elections. However, according to Professor of Political Sciences at the University of South Africa UNISA, Dirk Coetzee, they will not be able to participate in the elections of the President, Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Coetzee explained that those members of the MK Party who choose to boycott Friday's sitting will not be sworn in as members along with the rest of the MPs and MPLs. Speaking to the SABC, he said those MK Party members who choose not to attend the sitting do eventually decide they want to join the Parliament, they can do so after the sitting. Early this week, the party, led by former President Jacob Zuma, said they would not attend the sitting and instead issued a formal demand to the Chief Justice and Secretary of Parliament, arguing over what it called unresolved objections from the May 29th election. In response to the MK Party statement, Parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Matapo said according to Section 49.3 of the Constitution, unless and until the results of the election are set aside by a court, Parliament must ensure that the sitting proceeds as directed. Furthermore, Parliament cancelled all arrangements for accommodations and flights for the party's elected members, citing fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Next President and Speaker to be elected this Friday. The first sitting of the National Assembly NA, where the next President of South Africa and Speaker of Parliament will be elected, will take place on Friday, June 14. Chief Justice Raymond Zondo confirmed that the sitting will take place following the declaration of the national and provincial elections results by the Electoral Commission of South Africa IEC earlier this month. The sitting is scheduled to take place at 10 a.m. The confirmation comes just days after the Umkhonto Wesizwe MK party, led by former President Jacob Zuma, announced that they plan to interdict the convening of the NA. We argue that unresolved objections and the veracity of the substance by MK party and other political party who represent the will of the people render this market-based declaration and consequently the sitting and all its activities unconstitutional. Furthermore, and in defense of our people's constitutional rights, the MK party will file papers with the Constitutional Court to interdict the swearing in for party-nominated candidates as members of the NA until our grievances, which are premised on allegations of election fraud and rigging, be thoroughly addressed by the court, the party said in a statement released on Monday. In response to the MK party imminent court action, Parliament said it did not agree with the party's interpretation of Section 46 of the Constitution. According to Section 49.3 of the Constitution, unless and until the results of the elections are set aside by the court, Parliament must ensure that the sittings proceed as directed. Because of the first sitting of the NA and the National Council of the Provinces will take place physically, the Parliamentary administration is in the process of making arrangements to provide travel and accommodations for all members listed by the IEC as handed over by the Chief Justice to attend these sittings and the associated onboarding activities scheduled in Cape Town, said Parliamentary spokesperson Umkhonto Matapo. Matapo added that in light of the MK party's express decision through their legal representatives not to attend the first sitting, Parliament has cancelled all arrangements for accommodations and flights to the party's elected members. This measure is to avoid incurring fruitless and wasteful expenditure in compliance with the Financial Management of the Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act 2009, he said. And that's it from INJIBS Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.